Well, good morning. It's not morning, it's afternoon for me. It's 12:04. It is 6/19. Happy Juneteenth in 2024. And ultimately, um, yeah, I think we are doing critique day today. So
Yeah.
I have a critique up on my screen. And so if you have questions, this is a day of questions. And this is actually helpful because I literally am doing this right now with a client and a client co-author team. I'm critiquing their proposals. We're about to send it out. We have interest. We have some significant interest. So in the idea that they have written. So, and honestly, Bethany, I'm just going to tell you the stuff that we teach in here. I literally just go and tell the same things to my clients and like we sell books. So I really do think the stuff we're teaching in the club is relevant to helping you get published. Like I often say to clients on phone calls, yeah, we just talked about this in the Serious Writer Club the other day. So like it's the same stuff. And like we're not like teaching you one thing and teaching our clients something better or different. Like it's the same thing that we just give you the inside information that we're using as we do this business for ourselves as writers and really for with our clients. So we're hoping this helps you. But I literally the last couple of weeks I have just retaught the information to my clients in phone calls as we've been working through projects. And it's been great. We sold another couple books. I got like 4 contracts I'm working through right now. And there's some nice contracts. So it's fun. It's great. And I got a project I'm hoping is the next big thing, which could be a significant deal. So yeah, and really the first critique I have up on my screen is the exact same information I'm working with them through. So it's marketing plan. So, I hope people listen. I hope they take this to heart. I hope you really do think through what we're telling you as it pertains to your writing, selling your books, putting your proposals together, because it is that helpful. So, Bethany, you have some announcements to make, and then
Yeah.
we'll get into it.
All right. So we have the September event. We didn't have it last year, but we are going back to Liberty, North Carolina, with literary agent Andy Clapp as the pastor, but he's also the host of the event. And it is wonderful. So I have the registration page ready. So I'm going to go ahead and just share screen on that. And if anyone's got any questions, we can go ahead and just do like a quick answer for that. But here's the intensive. I'm super excited about it. Here's what we're doing. We're doing it a little bit differently than past years. So if you've come with us before, it's slightly tweaked. We are still doing 2 full days and a half day. So Thursday and Friday are full days with a half day on Saturday. We are adding in a little bit more breakout time on Thursday instead of it being main sessions all day. You still get lunches on Thursday and Friday. And you know, if you've been there before, the church is so wonderful and they feed us all day long with snacks and coffee. They're fantastic. We are doing a one-on-one appointment, just one. We have 6 faculty this year, 3 literary agents with Kyle, myself, and Andy Clapp. He'll probably be the most limited on appointments, but we are doing a first to register, first served. So during checkout, you will give us your first choice, your second choice, and your third choice of who you'd like to meet with. And then we will assign that based on who registers first and availability. And then you'll receive that during check-in. We'll go ahead and get that appointment filled in for you. And then just lots of information. Here's our faculty list. We have Eva Marie Everson, who's coming back to focus on fiction, but she also is a nonfiction best-selling author, and she also has written picture books, so she's got experience in all of them, but she'll be primarily focusing in her fiction breakouts. Johnny Alexander, who's often here with us, she also is a best-selling novelist. She also has experience with nonfiction, but she is also really amazing at doing an author newsletter. And so she's got this amazing workshop that she teaches on that, and she gets people respond to her newsletter. So not only is she really consistent and really good at doing a newsletter to her readers, she's been growing consistently there, and people like email her back. So she's going to teach a newsletter class. If you're excited to build the email list, this is a class. We're really excited about having Vincent B. Davis II come. He is kind of the expert when it comes to Amazon ads. He has sold over 100,000 copies of his series. He has a novel series, historical Rome series, and I got to talk to him at the Blue Ridge Conference over 100,000 copies of his books have sold, and he has self-published them, and he has figured out how to work the Amazon algorithm, and he teaches writers how to do the same thing. And one exciting thing about this is he teaches both self-published authors and traditionally published authors how they can utilize this tool. So he's going to come in for 1 day with us on Friday, and he will be taking some appointments on that day as well. And then I have Kyle, myself, and Andy listed on here as well, the things that we're working on and the categories we're focusing on. All the logistics are going to be on this page. Registration. Here's the big thing. We're giving you a discount. We're not doing an early bird. Instead of early bird, we are just offering our club members and patrons a discount. All the information's here. We're doing a 1 payment or 2 payment option. And then I have the schedule, and then I'll have all the workshop stuff listed here. So Kyle, I know that we've been waiting for this page to be ready. It's ready. I'm very excited, and I'll be sending out links to our club members and to our patrons later today so that they can be the first to register before we go live publicly with our newsletter.
That's great. Exciting. I can't wait. Yeah, no, it's awesome. If you have questions, let us know in the chat. It's exciting. Also, big news. I think we're going to do Italy next year in the fall. So here's why. Here's why. I've never been to Italy in the fall, and I really want to go. And I think that people would love to go during harvest season, because I always go. We went like the last 2 years. We went in the spring, and like there's no, like, the vines are just starting to grow in the vineyards, and yeah, it's beautiful, it's green, but like, wouldn't it be cool to go in the fall when there's grapes being produced and the wheat is being harvested? And like, I just think it'd be fun. So we don't have to go in the spring every year. It's not a thing. We can go whenever we want. So we've been talking about it, and I think we're going to aim for the fall, give people more time to go, but also change for people who we do have some people interested in going back. And so I think it'd be nice to change the season a little bit and the time of year that we go. For the people who are going to be returnees, they get to see a different time of the year. And, you know, it means different things, because we've always done like some wine tours and cheese tours and stuff, but generally they're not really making anything at the time because it's spring. So in the fall during harvest, there should be all this fresh, you know, so harvest season stuff. So I think that's the goal. So working on a date for that, but we'll announce it. So we'll have like a little over a year and 3 months probably before that trip. So that'll be exciting. So if you're wanting to go, also look for that. And we could talk more about that in September if you want to talk about it. But I'm excited. Yeah.
I know, it's awesome. Sandra had a question about the event in September. So her question was different workshops, not just one focus area like we've done in the past with fiction, children's, and nonfiction. So we are going to use the main sessions for those workshops that kind of pertain to everybody, regardless of what category or genre that you're writing in. So that way everyone gets that same really great information. And then our breakout groups are going to be more genre-based. But this year, instead of saying we're only putting 10 people into fiction, only 10 people is nonfiction, and 10 people into like picture books or children's, depending on who wants to come, like we might have 20 people who want fiction. Well, guess what? We've got 2 best-selling novelists with fiction. And so we'll split into 2 groups. We'll have 2 fiction groups. And then if we end up having 5 people in nonfiction and 5 people in picture books, then those small groups will be 5 and 5. And so we decided to take off the number of like, instead of limiting who can come based on the genre, we will be dividing them up, everybody up into groups based on what genre they want to be in. So I think
realized it doesn't really work 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
No.
So
you're not going to
it
get
just
1/3.
doesn't work that way.
It's not.
We've tried it. We got it the first year, and it's hard. It's hard to get that equal number of people. So we're just going to open up to who wants to come, and we'll make it work that way.
And we'll separate you into the groups that way. Yeah. And with the faculty that we have enough people to be able to teach the amount of groups that we're going to have, like really, really well. So I'm really excited.
That's good. Great. Let's go into critique time. I've got the marketing plan from Sandra up. So let's,
okay. You need to share screen.
Do you want me to share screen? Can you give me authority to share?
Yes. It's like I've never used Zoom before and I can't find where to do it. There you go.
There we go. Let's see. Where is that? Right here. Okay. All right. So for me, we have this marketing plan for how to pray without asking God for anything, a 30-day challenge by Sandra Chambers. All right. So we're gonna just go. We're just gonna scroll through it first, look at the whole thing, and then we'll talk about individual parts and pieces. How's that work? Does that work for you, Bethany?
Sorry, I muted. Yes.
Oh, so let's go before publication. We have an after publication, um, and then that's the two parts. You can see that we got bullet points. I do like bullet points. And I do like some, so what I'm seeing here. So Bethany, what do you think about having a section before publication, after publication?
I think it can work. One of the best practices that I tell my clients is not to use words like I will. And I hate that I said that out loud and I'm seeing that on the screen.
No,
So
it's good because the editors hate that too.
I like to see I'm in the process of,
Yep.
this is in progress. And so some of these things obviously you can't do until a book is out, like advertising the book someplace else. So that would make sense. I would probably take out the words I will and just put advertise, as like have a strong verb as that first one. But like I think, like, let's look at number 5 in that after publication, coordinating with other children's authors to share on social media. That's something that you can do right now. So I would move that into the marketing plan as,
Let's see, is that up here?
I'm in progress, or I'm in the process of connecting with children's authors. And the reason I say that, and then I'll turn this back over to Kyle,
No,
is it comes across that the only way you're going to do any of the things that are after publication is if you give me this book. It's almost like you're saying, if
yeah.
you have to give me this book deal in order for me to do these things.
And that is how it's received. That's how it's received by
And
editors.
it's
It's
not
like,
what you mean.
yeah, it's editors receive it as like, great, you're gonna, if we give you a contract, then you'll actually start working. That is how it comes across. That's how I've been told by editors.
Mhm.
And they say everybody puts this in there because they go to conferences
Right.
and saw somebody's proposal, and they had this, so they put it out, and they like don't repeat that. So we're gonna tell you how to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like what Betty said. Advertise my book. So if it's not quantifiable or qualify, it's not quantifiable or qualifiable. It is, for lack of a better word, it's worthless. So, because if I can't understand why it's important, it is not important. So if you're going to advertise your book on social media sites and your author website with graphics, memes, and some video clips, everybody's going to do that, or will say they will. But I want to know what those social media sites are, what the reach of those social media sites are, because I want to know the potential for sales. As a agent who's trying to pitch your book, I need to know how many sales this is going to equate to, and I need to quantify that in numbers, all the qualifiable and quantifiable numbers. So this needs to be quantifiable. All your social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, put them all down there, put your numbers. I have this many followers across my social media. I'll be posting this many times a week. It's quantifiable and qualifiable. Yeah, you might not have a lot. That's fine. Add it all up, total it, but put what you're going to do, how often you're going to post. I will post 2 times a week on Instagram, 1 time a week on Facebook, like whatever your strategy is. My current strategy is this.
Yes.
To maximize engagement. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'll continue to do. After publication, let's go back to before, then we'll come back to after. Yeah. Before, author website, I continue to add new content, and where your sisters on prayer. Okay, they want to know quantifiable and qualifiable. So why does this matter? Qualify, why this matters, quantify, tell me the numbers. If I continually add content, what does that mean? Does that mean I continually do once a quarter? I could do once a day. Those are both continual, but they're very different min metrics. So again, how many followers, how many times? So does that make sense? How many times am I going to add content? How many times am I writing a blog post? How many times am I adding resources? How many times a day? How many times a week? What's my reach? Quantify and qualify. Anything to add on that one?
Yes. So Sandra mentioned that she has that in her platform section. So I'm wondering, and you let me know when you want me to do this.
Yeah.
I have, because we're here together with our club and patrons, I have my nonfiction proposal templates up, which I can share if that's helpful.
Yeah, let's go through that, and then we can pull that up. Let's do this, and we can go through that at the end.
Okay, perfect.
Give them a chance for their critique. So yeah, the problem is if I'm going through your marketing plan, and I'm scrolling through, and I'm not impressed with the marketing plan, I may not get to the platform section, right? So I would have it both, you know, see my, or like see my platform section for numbers and details. But here you should have the numbers of how big your platform is in that section, but you probably don't have many times you're posting. This would be the place that you're putting how often you're posting, quantify and qualify that. So I post 3 times a week on my blog, and I put daily resources on prayer. And so that just let them know what you're doing. Newsletter. I send out a quarterly newsletter with 800 plus subscribers. That's quantifiable.
It's great.
With a over 50% open rate. That's qualifiable. I also have a nurture sequence for each new subscriber. Good.
I
Tell
love
me what that is.
all of
What's
that.
the nurture sequence? I use ConvertKit for, to maximize capturing emails from my nurture sequence for each new subscriber. Like, give me the details. They may not know everything, but the more details you have, the more impressed they're going to be. They may not understand everything, but then they know your stuff. So, like, I don't know what a nurture sequence is. I mean, I know, but like an editor may not know. So you might say, I use ConvertKit, and I use some of the popular strategies to capture emails to grow my newsletters through a nurture sequence for each new subscriber. That gives them value and keeps them interacting with me, and will hopefully allow them to potentially buy product. So that's like, be very detailed about what that is. Because if they don't understand, then it's not, if they don't understand, it's not qualifiable. It doesn't matter. Make sense? So I'm gonna say that same saying over and over again for every one of these. I'm having a feeling. And that's just, I do this thing to everybody, my clients too. I have a media pack at my website as a PDF, and as a PDF to send to prospective podcasts, news, media, bloggers, etc. Okay. That's good. But you're not doing anything with that. That just says this exists. I created this. And so I need to know, what are you doing with this thing that you created? Like, I need to know who you're sending it to, what's your success rate. Like, I regularly send, weekly, I send out 25 to 50. I send my media packet out to 25 to 50 different podcasts, news media, bloggers, and etc. to, get on their shows or get articles. And I have a blank percentage success rate of getting content out there. Like, let me know what you're doing. Does that make sense, Bethany?
Yeah, and I would also want to have a link to that media packet on the website.
Yeah, it's good.
Everything that you can do that makes it easy for them to click is amazing. So there's in a different area of this, you have the hyperlinks, or you have the websites linked out. I don't think that you need that. I tell my clients to embed a hyperlink in everything. So where you say in number 3, I have a media packet, you could just embed that hyperlink.
Well, SandraKChambers.com should be hyperlinked.
Hyperlinks.
Your newsletters should be hyperlinked, to be honest. If they want to subscribe to your newsletter, let them. Like,
Send them to
I would
the.
have their nurture sequence, boom, put it right there. Let them sign up for it.
Mhm.
Like, click it. If they want to join it, it's not bad to have editors following you, agents following you, right? Pay attention to what you're doing. So do that, but you need to be actively, before publication, sending yourself out to podcasts. Like, if you're writing about prayer, then you should be sending out opportunities to talk about prayer to all these different blogs, podcasts, media outlets. You need to be writing articles about it and getting out there already. And that needs to be already in process before publication, that you're already out there doing and speaking and writing and talking about these topics that you're writing about. So it's not an after the book, it's before and an after the book.
And you don't have to have reached out to everyone. I really believe that the marketing section is kind of like this living document. So you can, as you're working on it, you can say, I've sent out to these people. This is the next group on my list for the next 4 months. And then as you're updating, you just kind of move people into the next section. But by listing out the names and like the podcasts as an example, you're showing them, like, I'm not just making this up. I actually am sending out to these are people from my list. And that sets you apart in such a big way for this, because the majority of proposals that I see anyway, it's always things that they're going to do. And I'm just supposed to trust that they have these contacts, or will go make these contacts.
Things you're going to do have zero value to publishers. It's what you are doing or have done. That is where they find value, because they have to sit around a board of people and convince those people why this matters. And if they can't, they'll get serious pushback from sales, publicity, marketing. and if they don't have quantifiable, qualifiable stuff. So like this next one, I've compiled a list of local media. That's good.
Mhm.
That
Show me.
I have sent press releases to for my current book. And I will also send my release with my book launches. How I want to know how many of those have carried your current book and how many of those have confirmed that they'll put your new book in or an article about it. Like you need to go ahead and get that done. I mean, my current book was featured in blank, 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 blank. I believe that'll be similar for my next book. I've also reached out to these other resources and I'm working on getting confirmation that they will put my next book in when it launches. Um,
Yeah.
so, and you can say I maintain an updated list of editors and contacts at those places. Number
I think.
5, I
Oh,
have a list
yeah.
of podcasts. I've been operating my children's devotional. I have been on promoting my children's. Okay. See media packet. Okay, good. I like that. See media packet for more details on those podcasts. I reached out getting to be a guest on the podcast when my new book releases. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I think that one's good. Um, I would put a number. I have been featured on 35 podcasts, right? Or whatever, 5 podcasts. Like, remember the number needs to be as many as you can get. And so I have a list of blogs and magazines I've written for in the past, and we'll reach out again to do this for the book. See me a pack. I like that. I would probably put a number there. I have been featured on 25 blogs and magazines. You know, I will put together a launch team for social media blasts, which give with giveaways for pre-sales events. I'm just going to be honest. No one cares about launch teams in this industry. I have not yet to find an editor or an agent that cares about a launch team. That is an author specific thing. That it does not matter in a proposal. A launch team is not going to help you unless you can quantify why it matters. So if I have a launch team, if I have a dedicated launch team of authors who are going to blast on social media my book, and they have this many followers, and they will do giveaways, pre-sales, and reviews. If it's not a significant number, it won't matter. So like if it's not like millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers with it's not gonna change the dial because launch week does not matter to the publishers. Amazon regularly releases books multiple months early before they're supposed to release, and it causes chaos for launch team. Authors get frustrated. I just had an author last week complain about Amazon just released the book like 3 weeks early, and it ruined their launch. And it doesn't ruin the launch. That's what Amazon does. So let me check chat. I see we have questions, messages coming in. Let me see. Do we have any that I'm missing?
Sandra mentioned that the podcasts and blogs are at the bottom of the thing, which is totally fine. Like there's no
Yeah, yeah.
wrong way to do this. When I share the marketing section that I have as an agent, I can tell you, and this is like very subjective. Whenever someone's talking about the newsletters, I like to see everything about newsletters in that one section and then move on to, okay, now we're doing
Yeah.
media. Now we're doing blogs. So
I think it's
I don't
easy.
like
That's
to,
more searchable. The less they have to bounce back and forth.
yeah.
If you have a well done marketing, your platform's just a short list of numbers. Really, you could say this is my platform. Like your marketing section is going to matter because there is a team at these publishers that is a marketing team, like a publicity team that's going to get them excited. There's not a platform team. There does not exist a platform team. There exists a marketing team, and there's a PR team and a publicity team. So you want to have the information in a way that they get excited about.
Mhm.
Let's see. I will seek book reviews for my pre-book launch. For the book pre-launch. Yeah, I mean everybody will. Um, I mean if you're getting this, if you're submitting this proposal, the book should be written, or at least enough written that you could already have some confirmations of people who will read the book pre-launch and review the book. But like reviews are hard to get, and your reviews are all going to get taken down, and the publishers all know this because they're going to be people who know you. So reviews really have to come from outside your circle of influence. It's really hard to get reviews and keep them from your friends and family and your connectors. So, I mean, I think it's by nature every author will seek reviews. So if you can't, you need to find something quantifiable that you're doing already pre-launch. Um, like when the book goes up for, yeah, so it's going to be hard. You're really going to be hard to get reviews for something pre-launch. So what are your thoughts on that, Bethany?
I think that if you're going to put that in there, I would want to see how you're going to do that. And I
Mhm.
think I always like talk about from consumer to creator. When do I ever leave a review for somebody for something? And it's usually because the gift that they're giving is so big that I want it, that I'll go do the review when they need me to. And it's usually for like these big New York Times sellers because they're giving like free audio, free bonuses. There's all these gifts that they're giving in exchange for that review that you can like send them a verified purchase and review screenshot, and then they give that to you. So if you're going to put that in there, I would want to see what that marketing plan looks like to get those reviews.
Yeah, and that's gonna have to go to your post
You don't
launch
actually have
section
to do
because
that
you can't
though.
really do reviews pre-launch. You can, I mean, seeking reviews pre-launch, I would just take that out of that
I
section.
would probably, unless you've got this
Yeah,
huge,
yeah,
big gift funnel that you have.
yeah.
She's got another question. Do you want me to ask now?
Let's see. How many more of these are in this section? Yeah, go ahead. So,
For most, sorry.
most nonfiction books require 3 chapters. Correct. 2 or 3,
Two
depending
or
on the.
three.
For a devotional, how many one-page devotionals submit? Depends on how long they are. If they're short, 7 to 10. If they're or 5 to 7. If they're long, 3 to 5.
If the devotional is broken up into sections, I will ask my clients to do like, give me 3 in section
One
one,
from
give
each.
me 3 in
Yeah,
section two,
yeah.
just so they can see how we're
The
laying
difference.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
There's really no rhyme or reason. It just needs to be enough that they get an idea.
Yeah.
Number 9, I'll put together a disciple class to be ready to teach online after the book. Now you should be teaching that ahead of time. I
Yeah.
mean, you gotta be teaching that. You gotta be trying to do TED Talks. You gotta be trying to speak at places. That's gotta be already in the process before the book comes out. Um, like if you already have a class that you're out teaching, then you keep the curriculum rights
Right.
when you sell it. So like they want you already speaking. You should already be actively. I'm already spoken this many times with my class, Be a Disciple. I have this many engagements set up to speak on it. I hope to continue to do this many times a year and
Okay.
promote this book.
Kyle, what you just said, that's actually profound. So we're going back to it. You want to, if you already have the curriculum and you've got the class, you want to keep the curriculum rights. This is such a protection for you. Everything that you already have and you're telling them you've already done it, I will tell you, it makes it a whole lot easier for an agent or for you to negotiate that contract. Because when I was negotiating the cookbook contract, they have like media rights and all these things in there, and I was like, she's already doing all of this, so we want to hold on to that. And that was a very easy thing to say because she's already doing it. They're not going to be investing in that. And so it was very easy to keep the rights of things that she was already doing. If you are going to do it afterwards, you may have a hard time keeping those rights in that contract. And then the publisher may just hold them forever and you'll never be able to do it.
Yeah, no, that's good. So yeah, I would say, Sandra, you've got to get this class done.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying I will put it together. It needs to be, this class is put together and I'm already teaching it.
It's okay if it's in progress. Like that can take time. Like I'm in the progress. Like I would have something
Yeah.
done though before you send it out.
I mean, and ultimately you can go speak for free. Like go offer a bunch of places to come and speak for free to start and get gigs. Like just go locally and go teach a bunch of people to be a disciple class. I've already got these gigs lined up. I'm working on more. I mean, just get out there. I mean, start teaching. Call in some favors. Can I come teach your group?
Do an online, have it online too,
Oh
available.
yeah, do it online. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
do it online.
that's the fastest way.
Number 10, I will seek opportunities to lead small group studies at my church, other churches, and at women's conference. To put this in you've already got to be doing it. It's already got to be in process and doing. I will tell you that I have never once seen anyone, unless they're at a very large church and on staff, or that it matters. Their church does it like matters. Like it's not going to matter if you're leading Bible studies at your local. You've got to be leading it at dozens of churches. I mean, you've got to be going speaking. Like they're not going to equate your church's sales to anything. So, um, so when it comes to what does that helpful, you've already got to have it lined up. So you already want to be on the roll at women's conferences. So what he would be, I have reached out to these 10 women's conferences to try to get on and apply to speak next year. But it probably needs to be more than 10. I mean, I would get as many as I can to start applying everywhere to speak. I've applied at all these different places. Um, and I've got this many gigs out. I regularly every week I'm sending out 5 to 10 different pitches to different groups to come speak. Like they want to know that you're out there pushing
Yeah.
product, pushing your product, which is your content, which hopefully then will have a book. And then they, if you're out speaking, I mean, Bethany, I'll tell you, the easiest people to sell are speakers, the easiest ones.
Every Christian nonfiction editor that I have spoken to says email list and speaking.
Yep.
So if I'm looking now like at clients or future clients, and those are the two things that I'm looking for, like, because I'm not going to be able to sell this book unless those things are there.
Yeah.
No,
So, I mean, there's, I
really
mean,
good. Really,
I would say, Sandra, this is better than 95% of any of the ones we see. So
yeah,
we're just giving you the tips to make it even better, but like
well
nobody
done.
has this. So like,
Well
I
done.
don't want you to feel like, don't feel beat up. Like you're better than like 95% of people when we see that. But we're trying to get you to take it up to the next level. So I want it to be something you got in your proposal that actually helps you get a deal. That's the goal.
I do want to pick out number 3 in the after publication. I would not tell them that you're going to do Amazon ads, because the return on, if it's a traditional, you're making
that's
nothing.
them.
They need to do that. So I would not tell them that you're going to.
You don't advertise. You don't spend money. It's their job to spend money. If they're paying for your book, let them advertise.
Right.
So number 1, I will advertise my book on social media sites. Again, we talked about this one, quantify and qualify.
Yep.
We already hit that one. Number 2, I will hold a live launch party on Digital One and a Digital One with giveaways. They're not going to care about your launch party unless you can quantify how many people are going to show up, how many people are going to post about it. I've also joined other authors giveaways that include authors' books, and I probably going to gain hundreds of followers from newsletter. That's not going to matter. So you can say I'm going to do that. I would put that at the end of this list. That's not a priority. It's not going to matter to the publisher at all. Number 3, like we said, you just take that out. You're not going to advertise that. You're not doing that. Like,
don't do that.
I would tell you not to. Don't waste your money. So it's their job to advertise. Number 4, I will seek to place my books in public libraries, church libraries. Okay. I will seek, you should already be doing this.
Right.
This really should be a pre-publication. I have already reached out to these libraries and have confirmation that when my book releases, they will evaluate it to whether they want to carry it or they will carry it. Like, this is already something that should be in progress. So this might be after publication. I will deliver it to my list of libraries, local stores and stuff that are open to reviewing my book to carry it. I don't know that I currently having your book currently only in 3 places it's actually not going to be something that overly excites them. They're going to want to know that it's in dozens of places.
But it is great. And I would list them out though. I would say,
I would say
where I have it.
I currently have my book in counseling centers, venues, local event venues, stores, and libraries. Yeah. I would just put it all in a category. I wouldn't put a number of, like, this says 4. I would just say currently my book is carried in various places such as counseling center, local venues. Like, don't quantify it, because as you add to this, you don't want to go back in and add every one. So I will coordinate with other children's authors to share on each other's social media platforms. This one would really need to be pre-launch, and you've already should have it done, and you need to have all their social media, and you need to have commitments. Like, I want to see written commitments. I wanted to see the email from Bethany Jett that says I have 7,000 followers, or I have 7.
You want to see the email?
I want to see the proof.
How do you ask for that as an agent? I'm seriously curious.
I just had a lady ask someone with 300,000 email newsletters to get confirmation of her numbers.
Oh, did you really?
And she did. Yeah, she got it. She's like, this lady says, this is what she gave me as our media kit. And it's because she's going to promote him. Like, it's 300,000 emails. Like, it's a significant sales force. And I said, I can say that this lady's going to promote it, or she can send me an email from the lady saying the lady's going to promote it. And I will send that document in. Because once that happens, now I'm proving that we can actually deliver on that to the sales team. So, like, everything should be proven that it can be deliverable. So when it comes down to it, Bethany Jett has 70,000 followers. She's willing to share 3 times, once on her story, once on her post, and once on her YouTube or whatever, my book upon release. Kyle Young has 700,000 followers. He's going to post on his TikTok, which has 290 some thousand followers, and he's going to post on his Facebook page. So upon my release, like, and confirmation, if you want to prove the confirmation, send the email. I have at the end of the document, you can see all the proof of the confirmations of all these social media people that will post my content. Like, you're trying to convince them of everyone else that you've done the work to sell books, because that's the difference. Like, because if you get stuck in a category like, I don't know if this is going to sell, well, this person's went and done all the work. This person's got a bunch of I wills. I'm going to go with a person who's already lined everything up, because I'm going to have a better chance with somebody who's got stuff lined up already. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I've had a client lose in Pubboard to another book, and it was strictly based on platform. And like the feedback we get from every editor is, this book is amazing. It's nonfiction. We love this. The platform's not there. Oh, we took it to Pubboard. We had another similar title. You know, we're sorry, this one didn't make it. And it's so heartbreaking to be in that position.
Yeah.
So this is super, super important.
What number was that? Oh, it was number 6. I will seek opportunities to be interviewed in podcasts. Okay, so this one you should already have done beforehand. So to put it in the after means I will follow up with all the contacts I made and let them know the book has been released and that it's ready. I'm ready for those interviews. All right, and I will send again, or it needs to be, because you already done this work in the pre. This is all done pre and post. So I will follow up on in my previous contacts to let them know the book is released and see if I can get a slot on them one of the shows. 7, I will seek to get book reviews of my book for Amazon. Yeah, you can say that here. Like, I will do my best to help get my readers to review the book on, and I would say all those places. I wouldn't say etc. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads. Like, I would say these are the 3 places I'm going to send people to for reviews, because some of those people will want that. Oh yeah, I know we're running out of time. Let's keep on. I will seek opportunities to do book signings at local bookstores. I think you already need to have a list of these. I have this many places lined up, and I will reach out to, and I already have all the contacts, and I'll reach out to those contacts. I've already farmed them for contacts, and I'll reach out to those contacts to see about getting in book signings, all that stuff. Book signings don't sell books, so it's not going to excite really the publisher. I will seek opportunities to be interviewed on podcasts, radio stations. Again, that should have been done before. And this is just, I'm following up on the stuff I already did the work on before. And I seek to be a guest on podcast blogs I was promised I was on, probably my last book. I was on this many of those, and I'm going to reach back out to them. So I was on 5 shows before. I'm going to reach out to those 5 shows to see about getting on again. So, and then, yeah, you got 5. No, you got a whole bunch of shows. So, yeah. And so I would take this stuff and try to put it in the proper sections of where it fits in your marketing plan. Your marketing plan can be long. It's okay. I mean, if someone sees a 4 or 5 page marketing plan, they're going to know you are marketing, as long as it's not a bunch of I wills,
Yeah.
as long as it's a bunch of qualified and quantified information that tells them how many, what it is, why it matters, and how it's going to help you sell books. Okay. So, do we have any more questions there?
She's asking about her sales numbers. Her book is traditionally published though, so she doesn't need to. If it was self-published, we would say you need to make sure you've got those numbers in there. But because it's traditional, you can check BookScan, which any of the bookstore sales or Amazon or any of that we'll go through that. So sometimes BookScan is wrong. So always make sure you have your royalty statements from your publisher in case you ever get pushback, and then you could include a number once you get your royalty statements. You can keep that updated. I know, like Kyle, when I moved over from my first agent, we were looking at sending out a proposal, and one of the editors came back and said, well, she didn't sell enough X number of copies of her first book. And I was like, yeah, I did, but I had a royalty statement that proved that I did. So what they had checked was a little inaccurate. So
right.
What about sales at events, etc.? I would keep a list of how many books, and if you're selling in the hundreds and the 10, thousands, I would be making a record of that, because then you could include, I have back of this, I sell books at the back of the room. I sell approximately 200 books every time I speak. That's not included in my book stand. Something that kind of indicates that you are selling in the back of the room. So I want to do 2 things in the time we have remaining. We want to go to Joanna's critique, and then also I want to just showcase very quickly a marketing section in a proposal that may help you kind of reformat this a little bit. Kyle, which one do you want to do first?
I would probably say do the proposal with this one, just since we just went through
keep it together
stuff. Yeah, just to keep it together.
Okay, so we'll just do a quick look here. I have 6 million things open. All right. So on the screen, this is a template, and this is what I send over to my clients for them to do their first round. And I tell them if they're not using a platform, just to delete it. And this, what I have in here is just samples of things. It's not what I expect them to send back to me with my same things in here. But I like to have bulk sales at the top, which would be any kind of speaking or organizations that you know or have contacted where they have agreed or would agree to purchase copies once the book is out. I usually keep that at the top. But then I tell them to reorder their social media or email depending on numbers. So wherever their highest platform is, move that one to the top. But we break, at least for my clients, I break it down into a strategy, Facebook, and then all of the tactics. So a lot of the things that were in your section were different tactics, and I would just kind of put them underneath a broader strategy. So that way you can say, like, your strategy could be email marketing. Well, here's where you could list your newsletter open rates, links to the landing page. You can talk about the nurture sequence, and then you can talk about the things that you're currently doing. And then if you have things that you're going to do once the book is released, you've already kind of proven that you're already doing this, and this is what's going to happen afterwards. So everything is kind of in one spot. So this isn't this is the way that I like to see it from my clients. There's no really wrong way, but I just hope this is kind of helpful. I'll just scroll down. And then I have their media contacts here.
Yeah, I think that's super helpful.
And then let me see. There's their endorsements underneath that. And then I also have in their bio area. This is where I have them give any of their publications with sales numbers, all of their speaking and things like that. And then in the marketing section, then they can reference something that the editor or agent has already seen those things. But then I have them quantify and qualify here too. So this is just a different way to organize the information. All right.
Yeah.
You ready to go to our picture book?
Yes, I am. Is there any way to get a copy of that? Screenshot.
Hold on, let me put it back up.
Screenshot.
Yes. Get your see.
Share it again.
I'm trying to find it. Here it is, nonfiction proposal.
Dun, dun.
This is definitely the insider information. Go ahead. And then I'll scroll down in just a second and I'll get that next. Okay. And here's my. And then if they have other things, like I have a couple of clients who have developed apps. And so that goes at the top. So anything that they've done that's not in here, we do strategy, XYZ app. And then here's the number of downloads. Here's the number of, this is how long it's been in existence. This is what they're getting. So anything that they're doing that's kind of not listed under these strategies, we add in. But these are the basic ones to get my clients started. And let me scroll up to what I showed you just a second ago. Normally, like, this isn't how it would go out. I usually would have this on a separate page. But again, this is just the template for them. I usually have their bio, and then this is where I have them put their education would also go in here, honors, writing awards, anything that kind of is bio-ish is before their marketing. So let me just put this right here. And then I will stop my share.
Cool. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, let's go to the children's book.
Yeah, I love children's books. Do you have it available to share?
Let me see. Yep. All right. Let's read it. The night the owls dance. On the night the owls dance, children come out of their homes, holding on to their parents. They are dressed in funny clothes. Some have collars on their faces. Some are wearing masks. Everything's so different on the night the owls dance. On the night the owls dance, children run up and down the street. They are carrying bags. They yell, trick or treat. The pumpkins have been cut up with a fire lit inside. The owls sit and watch from trees. Some want to run and hide. On the night the owls dance, the little children go back home. Then the older ones appear. Some wear really scary costumes that the owls fear. Finally, the night grows quiet. The people go inside to count their piles of candy. The owls no longer hide. It's the night the owls dance. They sit upon the branches, waving their wings up in the air, then shuffle in all directions, some alone and some in pairs. They jump up from their branches, they soar up in the sky, they gather together from a dance that makes them fly. Hooray, the night is silent from the people walking through. They've taken off their costumes, things will go back to normal soon. The dark belongs to owls and the creatures of the night. When people get so crazy, it gives them quite a fright. So remember, as you walk about on Halloween, the owls are watching even though they can't be seen. After you get your candy and have some fun, go back to your house when the night has come. The owls will be dancing when you are done on the night the owls dance. All right, Bethany. What are your thoughts as I was reading? You go
Um,
first.
First, there's some really cute lines in here, and it's a fun Halloween story without mentioning Halloween. You know exactly what's going on, and it really could be well, trick or treat kind of pulled it in as Halloween. I was going to say it could possibly any holiday where children do dress up and walk around. I think there's more than one, but so the critique part for me, the rhyming sequence is off. So like for rhyme, two things in picture books, the rhyme has to be a true match and not a near rhyme. So like masks, dance, street and treat was a perfect rhyme. So that is what you're looking for in a picture book. But a close rhyme or a near rhyme, it doesn't really work. I think it's clever to do like near rhymes. I like them, but not for picture books. And then I'm guessing you wanted to talk about the meter of the rhyme.
Yeah, I mean, in picture books, you have to. It has to be predictable because, like, children potentially can start reading these, and they don't do the change well. So if it has a cadence, the cadence has to be the cadence the way through. That way, a child can anticipate or predict what the word may be. They might not know the rhyming word, but they might be able to figure it out or sound it out because they understand the cadence and they understand the pattern. So the pattern would need to be very similar. Um, so this pattern, we got dance, homes, parents, and clothes. There's no rhyming pattern there. That's A, B, C, D. Um, and then homes and clothes might be like a internal rhyme. Might right. You have O and O, but it's really parents and dance, sort of. But like they're those are too far apart for children. Then we got faces, masks, different, and dance. And again, we don't have any real rhyming pattern there. So that'd be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Um, so we have too much. And then we've got some really nice stanzas with like dance, street, bags, treat. That would be like an A, B, C, B rhyme. And so if you're going to stick with like an A, B, C, B, then the whole thing's got to be like that. It's like the end of line A needs to rhyme with another line that has a similar, and then that's an A. So is this making sense? So the end words have to rhyme in a repetitive way. And the meter has to be the same. I mean, we know some books are written in 8 syllable, 8 syllable, 8 syllable, 8 syllable for children. Some are 6 syllables, 8 syllables, 6 syllables, 8 syllables. Some are 8 6, 8 6. Some are 7 7 7 7. So whatever the meter and whatever the syllables you're using, it has to be consistent, and your rhyme has to match your rhyme pattern. You might only rhyme one. The end of a stanza it might be A, B, C, D, and E, F, G, D. And you might just rhyme that last word. You just have to have your predictable rhyme, but the meter's also got to match. And so there were a couple places you could tell I struggled to read it because we have some stanzas that are 4, and then we have some stanzas that are 5. Um, but like for me to have a 5 stanza, I would expect that the night the owls dance would then be a repeating line that would appear over and over again throughout the book. And that's kind of what I expected there, but that only comes in down here, which is this 14 lines. Is this a sonnet then? Let's see.
I'm gonna while you're
2,
counting
3,
that,
4,
it's
5,
helpful
6,
to
7.
break up the picture book into spreads
Yeah.
because then you're indicating where the page turn is happening. So the line that Kyle had just highlighted, that fifth line about it's the night the owls dance. I would imagine that to be like you could say spread 11 or 12 or whatever, but I would picture the rhyme, the 4 rhyme to be on one page, and then that repeater line could be on the
Yeah.
opposite page of that spread. So spreads are so helpful. And I will tell you, when I was talking to Brian Gerlain for our podcast, that replay is available for you guys. We talked about the page turns and the spreads, and something that can set you up. It doesn't really set you apart. It helps show that you understand how picture books work when you submit one that's broken down into spreads. When I get a picture book that's not broken down into spreads, I immediately question how much training or education the person has when it comes to how to put that query package together for an agent or an editor. So it's just a very easy thing to add in, and it kind of elevates your story, and
Right.
it elevates kind of you as knowing how this is, because I want to see where you want the page turns to be in
Yeah.
here.
And so I think this is like, for me, I like stuff like this. It's really cute. I like the idea focusing on the owls, because trick or treat books, if it's just trick or treat, there's a ton of them. I
Mhm.
think this is a cute, like this would have the opportunity to be something. And it's just a matter of, I think it's still in its being fleshed out stage.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, the whole premise of this is this Night the Owls Dance being a fall Halloween time book. And so I would highlight this and make a repetitive on the Night the Owls Dance. And then if this is going to just be a refrain, then that refrain, use that refrain every 8 lines. So boom, you got 2 stanzas, you got the refrain, 2 stanzas lead, and that stanzas point to the refrain. So on the Night the Owls Dance. And then you have this page where the owls are dancing, and you have like what is being said leading up to that, pointing to there's something that the owls are dancing. And then like you have 2 more or 3 more stanzas, and you have on the Night the owls dance. And so then you have this other big spread, and you got the owls dancing. Your illustrator can go crazy, make your owls dance different ways. And then you kind of have your, at the end, you'd have this final 1 page turn on the Night the owls dance. So, and that's your takeaway. So I like that. I think it's cute. That to me, so you go back to your house when the night. So basically, to me, I see like a closed door of kids going home, and the owls are dancing. So the owls will be dancing when you are done on the Night the owls dance. I mean, there's this cute story that's happening here. So I think it's really a great story idea. It's just the rhyme and meter need to be fleshed out in a way that works. My suggestion is do like a 6-8-6-8, like 6 syllables, 8 syllables, 6 syllables, 8 syllables in the same meter. Now that might be you're writing an iamb, or you're writing in dactyl, but you're writing in a dun 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 dun, or a dun 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 dun. And so go, if you're not familiar with meter, go research you like meter, like an iamb, IAMB, which is like iambic pentameter, and do uh, you know write this in iamb, do 8 lines and do a refrain, 8 lines and a refrain, 8 lines and a refrain, and then lay it out in spreads, because you might realize that this feels the right length for a picture book. I think it just needs to be laid out in spreads, which a spread is 2 pages. It's the spread being open, 1 page, 2 pages. And so what's going to be on those 2 pages, and then you're going to flip the page, what's going to be in the next 2 pages. And there'll be a page at the end that's just 1 page by itself. That's going to be, say, on the Night the Owls Dance. That's going to be your driving home page. So those are some things to be aware of. I like this idea. I definitely think that this should be continued to be worked on, and take some of the, just work on some of the meter, work on some of the rhyme. To me, I think this one would probably benefit from not trying to do exact rhyme, A, B, A, B. I think just trying to maybe just do like A, B, C, B, where you're only rhyming one pair of words each quartet here. So it's a little bit easier to get a good rhythm, and you don't have to force words in that don't fit. That way and then bring this refrain back, which is also a repeating refrain. So
Yeah, the other thing too is the narrator breaks the fourth wall towards the end. So you may even want to have a version where there's sort of a you happening earlier. Sometimes it's a fun surprise at the end, but I think there's a few different ways you could do this book. And then I will say, the feedback that I'm getting from editor, I have 2 clients who are perfect rhymers. Like it's absolutely perfection. But I get a lot of pushback from editors on rhyme, even perfect rhyme
yep.
and stories right now. So you mentioned, I see in the comments that you usually write in prose, and I would have a version of this that can be lyrical, but maybe it's not rhyme. I would have maybe 2, because I'm just, at least right now, I'm having a really hard time with rhyme, even perfect rhyme.
Yeah.
And we have one more because Robin sent us in something, and we have a few minutes. And
Oh, I
Robin
didn't see
Kirkman's
one
in
come
here.
in.
Yeah, I just
All right.
forwarded it to you. So welcome, Robin. Don't worry about the time zone. That happens to me all the time. if you've got any other questions, Joanna, please throw them in the chat. Sandra as well. Like anything that if you're thinking, I think that they said this. Like I love Critique Week because this is where you learn. It's where I learned the education of writing is, you can learn so much in workshops, but it's not until you're being edited or having something critiqued where I think that learning really happens, because then you take all of that into your next piece. And it's been super fun. I have a contract with the Big Five publisher for my first picture book as an agent, and we can't, and they'll be putting the announcement out once the contract is signed, so I can't talk too much about it. But I've been able to see the editor go back and forth with my client on the text, and it has just been, I have learned so much just from the few edits that they've made, really strengthening the story. Oh, that was my other comment, Joanna, while Kyle's pulling up Robin's her critique. I think that I saw have been, I think it was the pumpkins have been lit, I think was the line. I would try to get rid of any of those sort of helping verbs, because every word matters in the picture book. So if you can tighten everything to make it a little bit stronger, that would help. And thank you, Robin. I am thrilled with this. It feels very good. Do you have Robin's thing?
I do. I'm pulling it up.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go a few minutes over, but happy to do so. Robin, we're so happy you're here.
It's loading.
Okay.
Let me share.
All right, I will mute and go off screen.
Wild kaleidoscope, small delights in vast spaces. Wilderness, wasteland, huge, wild, empty, look closer. The tundra are expanses of frozen wasteland. Colors, auroras displayed, sweeping patterns of brilliant lights flooding the night sky. Zack the Yak. Auroras appear when the particles in the solar wind crash into Earth's gases. There is no noise, just a spectacular light show. Sounds, growl, kerplash. A slab of ice splits off the glacier and floats into the icy water. Zack the Yak. Calving is the term for an ice chunk cracking away to form an iceberg. What a splash. Surprises. The narwhal is the unicorn of the sea. Zack the Yak. Did you know his 9-foot twisted horn is a tooth? The jungles are steamy tangles of tree bushes. Colors. Is that flash of red and yellow a toucan beak? Zack the Yak. The big-billed toucan has very small wings. It would hop rather than fly. Sounds. Howl, screech. Red howler monkeys swing through high branches. Zack the Yak. Red howlers use their tails as another hand to grip branches. What could you do with another hand? Okay. What do you think, Bethany?
All right. So I keep trying to scroll on your screen, which doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Robin, I love the Zack the Yak narrating those questions. My favorite one, I think, was the very last one about what would you do with another hand? Because I just think it opens so much opportunity with the parent or whoever's reading the book to the child for them to talk about or pretend to be, whatever animal it is. So that was my initial thought, was I really liked the Zack the Yak part of this.
Oh, I missed like 11. Hold on, I'm missing 11 messages. All right. So, oh, sorry. I missed those. I missed those from Joanna. Sorry, Joanna. I'll come back to those. Yeah, I mean, so like Robin can pitch in here on the chat if she wants. Robin, so does Zack that make it nonfiction? No fiction. I mean, I think to me, it's going to be nonfiction. Zack the Yak, is a fictitious thing, but ultimately this is a nonfiction book, right? You're using a nonfiction illustrator and our fiction illustrator, this imaginary yak. It's really, I see a picture of a yak, with a sidebar, like a kind of a quote, maybe Zack the X, responding to these pictures that have been done. That's how I would see it. I almost see it with like actual real photos. And Zack the X kind of popping up and, down as a lower third, basically being your narrator. So that's kind of how I see it when I first take a look at it. what do you think when you look at this, Bethy? I mean, definitely, Robin, this is a general market book, you know, written for an educational space, essentially. You know, it's fun, but it's also like it's teaching. It's specific about environment and um, the kaleidoscope of colors in the environment. So
So the I think I would like to see where the spreads are. I think I always go back to that. Like because are the colors on one page and then the sounds are on a different page, or
yeah, I would say, Robin, you could put spreads on this. The way I read this would be the colors would be probably a spread. You'd have an Aurora spread. The sounds would probably be on a spread, but it probably would be good for you to this because I could also read this as a picture book, or I could read it as a board book, a very small book with very tight spreads where it's all together. So I think that you'd want to put this together in the way that you see it. Just if Zach the Yak is a lower third, where he's like an animated narrator overlaying like actual photography, or if this would be illustrated images, I would put how you would think this looks in the breakdown of the book. To me, I just felt like a National Geographic type book with Zach the Yak as like a lower third illustrator, like pops up over the, like a lower bar, maybe like a green bar with Zach, this illustrated picture, boom, and then in text in it, and it's over this actual physical photo. That's kind of what I was seeing as I read it.
Yeah, she has a question, which is actually my next comment. The question was, should Zach be more personal to the kid each time? That last question that you had, where you sort of stated a fact and then asked a question about what would you do with it, like with another hand, or I don't remember the exact verbiage.
Yeah, I think
That would
so.
be fun. Like
Yeah,
for the narwhal, you know, the narwhal has a 9-foot twisted horn as a tooth. What would you and then bring that into the kid, like,
yeah,
or even have them do some kind of mimicry with their hands, like make your hands into, like make your stomach a horn or something that makes it a little bit more interactive would be super fun.
yeah. Yeah. So I would say lay out the spreads the way you see it,
Mm-hmm.
and what kind of book you probably need a description. What kind of book you think it is, like a book description. Like I see this as a so many page book of photos, but I have this actor, Yak, a narrator. I would lay all that down in a breakdown of the book, and then put it out in your spreads. So, because to me, it's a nonfiction book with just a funny, whimsical, um, creative way to do your sidebars. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering too if it was fiction or nonfiction. I know we already just addressed that too. So the manuscript details, the metadata. That's what I was missing a little bit of that. But that
I
wasn't.
would even put the option. You could just put the option as if you don't want Zach the Yak, you could just leave this as sidebars, like a lower third sidebar that's just did you know, right? Instead, like I would maybe give that as an option in the breakdown. Like I see this as a fun, whimsical way to have a Zach the Yak, a fun character narrator. But if you don't like that, I might put that in there because if they don't get it, they might be like, I don't get this. You could say, but that could just be, for your publishing preferences, it could just be a lower third.
I think the other suggestion that I have. Oh, sorry, Kyle. I think I didn't hear you say the last part. Could you repeat that?
I was just saying that I would probably give them the option of saying, if you don't like the Zach the Yak narrator, like somebody like a National Geographic might go more away from that, where you might find a different, like a more of like a penguin zeitgeist might be like, oh, that's fun. Let's do that. Um, but like, it just depends on the company.
Yeah. I think because in the sounds you've kind of given a couple of sounds, I think that I would like to see, probably this is just a subjective suggestion, maybe listing some of the colors in that colors page, just like you did with, like in the jungles one, you mentioned red and yellow. And I think it's always a fun way as a parent or grandparent to be able to talk about colors, because then you also have the option of having them point at the different colors, which is how I found out one of my children is colorblind. So,
Yeah.
because it wasn't picking them out. So you might be able to even add some color
I
into.
mean, I know Robin's recently been to like Antarctica and all kinds of places.
Yeah.
So what I would say is do the spreads, Robin, and I would say this is a photo. To me, this could be a photo or an illustrated book. So I would lay that out, and I would say like colors. I would maybe say in the spread, I see one spread or one page of colors of the whites of the ice, the deep blues of the crevasses in the glacier, and just give them a description of what could be. These are photos or illustrated drawings. I mean, to me, I feel like it's a photo book because that's so much cheaper for them to acquire the photos than it is to pay an artist. So, where it's a bunch of photos and then they could pull in kind of the fun illustrated character as part of it. So, but I would lay down what you see in the colors. What sounds do you see? Like if you see an image of a calving glacier splashing into the water, where the word splash is illustrated across it, I think I would describe all that for this book. I think because I get where you're going. I would keep the label colors,
Liked it too.
but I would maybe have that as like in the corner, in the corner of the image it says colors, and then you have these different pictures, and you have these beautiful blues and whites, and you know, um, you know, Antarctica you'd have penguins. The aurora can be pink, green, however you want to do it. Usually illustrated as green, but green and blue. But I saw pink aurora and purple aurora. It's cool.
And because of the title is kaleidoscope, you might even want to have color listed throughout, even with the animals. I mean, with the toucan, we've got a toucan mentioned under colors, but under surprises, you may even want to say like the gray or the whatever color narwhals are. Yeah. You may even want to add color throughout the whole thing to really kind of drive home that kaleidoscope.
Yeah, I kind of feel like, I do kind of feel like because it's kaleidoscope, I feel like it's more like a rainbow of colors in each
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I
And
kind
the
of feel,
aurora is the big overall
yeah,
kaleidoscope.
that
Yeah.
I would almost have the Roy G. Biv colors in each in Antarctica or in the Arctic or in the tundra. That might just be, a red fox or like animals that would have those colors. I mean, you don't necessarily need to get all of them, but like, if you want to just be blues, the deep blues of the tundra or whatever, but you're gonna have blues and greens. So, I would try to describe what you see in that kaleidoscope. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so clever. I think everyone did such a good job with what you sent into us. And I really mean that, because it's always hard to get critiqued on your work. I like it and I don't like it at the same time. But everything that everybody sent in today is like super good. And, I hope everyone continues to work on it and just know that you're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
You really are. Yeah, that was perfect timing, Robin. It was
No
great.
problem. Well, I know we went way over, so we'll end it here for today. And thanks for letting us share your work. And yeah, keep going. I wanted to go back to Joanna's question that we missed earlier. Yeah, Joanna, I definitely see that you write prose. I almost think you could pull that off of prose with just the refrain. Like, I don't know that you need to do, honestly, I don't know that you need to try to do rhyme in it, because rhyme is so hard to sell. I think if you can do that same thing with the owls dancing, because that refrain is almost like a repetitive rhyme. And so I would say if you're a good prose writer, write prose. Don't try to write rhyme. Don't, because it's kitschy and people don't do it, and publishers don't like to buy it. They like to buy prose. So be a great prose writer. So
It's so
for
frustrating.
children's, write great children's prose. You'll have a much easier time selling it. We do critique week now once a month, right? So
yeah, it's the doorbell. So the critique week is typically the third or the fourth week, and sometimes we don't have anything come in, and it may be because I don't always do a call out, but I'm always going to be having that call out go out every single time. So sometimes it turns into like another industry updates or a Q&A sometimes. But you can always send a critique in at any point, and then when we do critique week, we'll go ahead and get it on here. Next week is our guest. And so we also leave weeks 3 and 4. And if there's a 5th week open in the month on a Wednesday for our guests to choose from when they're coming on. So next week, we're going to have Vincent Davis, who's going to be with us at the event in September. He's going to come on here and talk about Amazon ads. And he talks about self-published and traditional authors using it, although he does have a caveat that like sometimes for traditional, you're not making the return on investment, but he does have some tips for traditional authors as well. So he's going to be our guest next week on Wednesday at the same time, and you'll get a message for that. So yeah, every month we do critiques, and we'll continue to do critiques for you guys. So Kyle left me, so I'm going to sign off and get this replay up.
I'm here. Yeah, see ya.
And then we'll get the replays, Kyle. So we will get those posted and out. Lots of messages going out today about a lot of things. So
awesome. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.